Hello, everybody,
Hi,
and
welcome.
welcome to the eighth and final stage of the Zwift Women's Racing Series with an individual time trial. I'm James Bailey, and I'm joined by Kelly Wigan.
Hi, welcome. I race with ATP Racing and I'm super excited to be here.
So, Kelly, we've got a classic 10-mile time trial today with 2 laps of Loch Loop. Would you like to talk us through the course?
Sure. So this race is in Scotland and we can expect that the course today, being an individual time trial, is all going to be about pacing, right? Figuring out what pace you can maintain for the duration of time to take do the whole course. You start with a downhill that goes along the cliffs on the west side of the map there, and then you carry it around on the south side, and then you have an uphill, which is the breakaway Bray segment, but there's no reason to do anything super hard there other than just get up and over the hill. And then you have a couple little bumps as you head up towards the castle, and then you go down the corkscrew, and then you head up again to the start finish lines that are up by the pens there on the north side. I anticipate that today's race is really just going to be about keeping solid power as you go throughout the entire course, with possibilities of increasing your power a bit when you're going uphill and decreasing it a bit when you're going downhill. Is that what you would do, James?
Yeah, so I think we're probably looking in a region of 25 minutes for sort of season Bs. Obviously, we don't have season Bs today. We've got Cat 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But I would expect their times to be in a region of 25 minutes. So you're probably looking at averaging around FTP. I would probably take the downhill slightly under and the uphills slightly over, because realistically, if you can go hard on the hills, you're probably going to save the most time. So I definitely approach literally it's a tale of two halves on each of the 2 laps. Your first half of the lap is primarily downhill, with second half of the lap primarily uphill. So slightly under on the first half and slightly over on the second.
That's what I would do too. Definitely. That would be my main thought. You mentioned that we're going to have cats 1 through 5 today. Do you want to talk a little bit about how those categories are determined?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're trialing the Swift Racing Score with this series. Everyone has a score between 0 and 1,000. Those scores are then divided into subdivisions, category 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And whatever your score is will determine which category you're able to enter. As a very, very simple rule, your score is based on, firstly, your base score is based on your 30-second and 10-minute power, and then how well you do in races will influence whether your score goes up or down. So if you beat people who've got a higher score than you, your score will go up. And if people with a lower score than you beat you, then your score will go down. But essentially, it is aimed to deliver a much more fair racing experience. So you'll be racing against people with a similar ability level to you.
That's been my experience from racing in this series. I am at the bottom of the category that I've been seeded into, but I would be at the top of the category one below me. So I'm pretty excited that you've come up with a way to take our performance and our power metrics and turn them into something that makes for a more dynamic racing experience that gives us input into how we're doing and puts us in places where we may be challenged in some ways, but maybe excelling and challenging others in other ways. So I really appreciate that Zwift is playing around with this. This is week 8 of this women's racing series. We have had 7 other races, and there's standings individually for this series, which are determined by your best 6 of 8 performances. That means that your worst 2 will be thrown out, and we have current standings here that reflect who in each of the 5 categories that James was just describing is scoring the best. So you get 50 points for winning, and then 49, 48, 47 as you go down place by place for each of the races. And we can see here that in category 5, just quick glance, for instance, Carolina Mikaya has won 6 races, and that's how it is that she has the full 300 points that you see there. I also want to go through these and just talk about these women and name them so that they get their time named on the broadcast. But I want to take a moment really quick to just say that the women who are racing in the field that we're covering right now are actually the really, really best, because these are the biggest fields. And so it's the hardest to get 50 points. You've got sometimes twice or even sometimes 200 200% of the number of racers in your category than you would have if you were racing in the early morning field or the Saturday field. So that means that Holly Diop, in her case, she's category 1, and she's mostly been racing early by herself, but she's still super strong. Frida Kronqvist is similarly racing strongly. Thelma Thorsdottir has a race. In fact, I think we'll see her today, so that will bring her up on par with a full total, much like Holly and Frida. Sarah Roach, same story, also racing today. Tina Jareth, same story, also racing today. Vanessa Beaver, Kimberly Hoekstra, Kirsten Shooter, Leah Stern, and I think Elise and Leah, Elise Gallegos there at the bottom, those two have only done 2 races. So probably they aren't going to be in the running for doing really well. But Holly Diop from Coalition is definitely top of this field right now.
I want to give a quick shout out to Vanessa Beaver, who is in 6th in Cat 1 and also 6th in Cat 2, which implies that she's probably done 6 races in 2 and 4 in 1. So racing more than once a week and managing to get herself way up in the standings in both. So way to go, Vanessa.
That makes sense. I think Tina Jareth similarly has done a lot of races in category 2 as well, and is probably just off of our list here in the category 2 standings. In category 2, we've got Caroline Bale, Sarah Donath, Nicole Oschenbrenner, Natalie Smith, Anna Longdill, Vanessa Beaver, Lucy Doyle, Kristen DeLorean, Kristen Schaefer, and Melissa Tuma. Do you want to take us through category 3?
Yeah, absolutely. In category 3, top of the pops is Valerie Ramirez, followed by Katie Adkins, Nina Hines, Lisa Hines, Sweet Hammerby, Maggie Lowe, Ginny Lupo, Paola Peroni, Susan Clark, and Crystal Moore.
And then in category 4, we have Heather Johnson, Sarah McLeod, Tracy Sperry, Maggie Keene, Margaret Thompson, Leanne Maltby, Jen Nicholson, Courtney Swain, Lena Gunghaga, and Jennifer Baker.
And finally, in category 5, we've got Carolina Mikaya, who's top, followed by Connie, then Jeanette, Mel Screven, also known as Biker Mel, in 4th place, then Jessica Lee, Kay Watson, Geraldine Hope, Lizzie Stevenson, Danette Powell, and Toby in 10th. We move on to the races on the course.
Looks like there was just a pass in category 1. Thelma Ursdottir, it looks like, just passed Sarah Roach. It appears that they're headed up towards the castle, so they've already made it through Bray, I think, maybe? Is that track?
I think they're actually... Yep, they're almost at 7.3 kilometres. They're almost actually finished the first lap already, so they're going strong. And I believe this is Sarah Roach with some power numbers shown there by our producer. This is Thelma, whose name I've probably mispronounced, and I apologise.
I know for sure the last name is Thorsdottir, and it's literally Thor's daughter. Thor, the god Thor's daughter. So she has the coolest name. uh,
So she's the
yes,
goddess of thunder then.
that's right. And she's definitely living up to that name here. She's pulled ahead, it looks like, a little bit. Oh no, it looks
And
like possible.
I think even more appropriately, she races out of the Scandinavian team Vikings Valhalla. So Tor's daughter racing for a Scandinavian team, definitely putting her foot down, racing hard.
Should we see how things are? Oh, and it looks like Kirsten Shooter is finishing up her lap here too. Uh, the start finish is just ahead. Shall we look at and see who's racing Category 2 today? Lois Brewer, that maybe that she was just started first, but that's Lois Brewer we've got here. Uh, Lois Brewer doesn't have a team listed on Zwift Power, so
She's
maybe
definitely
she's
putting up
been.
the watts. She's got an average of 4.2 so far, so definitely right up at the top of the category. And this looks like a great ride.
We have a comment from Y Tokugawa. Ale, right on. Uh, that's super great. Ale being the common go go kind of chant that you hear in France and around the Tour de France and bike racing in general. Anna Longbill is finishing up her lap. Amanda
So Anna
Robinson
also with
is
an
just
average of
behind.
4.2. Yep, these ladies are definitely flying. Much faster than I could do it. But yeah, no, a lap in 11 and a half minutes, so looking for a finish of around about 13, especially when you consider there's about a 200-metre lead in from the pen to the start finish banner. On to lap number 2 for Amanda.
Category 3, we've got
Claire Spencer out of the herd, and I would like to say a big thank you on behalf of all of the ladies riders at the herd for all the hard work that Claire does in organising their ZRL teams. I know it's an absolutely monumental job, so big thanks to Claire, but she's going strong.
It looks like we're seeing a lot of folks that are riding similar rigs here. I've seen the same DT Swiss disc wheel, which you can tell by that red stripe that's spinning there, that Claire was riding and now Nina Inez is riding. Tina Jareth also has it for Watt Fabric. And it looks like she's about to make a pass on Kirsten Shooter.
I mean, I don't know about you, Kelly, but that's the wheel set I'm definitely choosing. I'm going with the KDX Tri-Bike and the DT Swiss disc wheels, just to try and go as fast as I possibly can on the downhill and flat, and hope it doesn't weigh me down too much on the hills.
There's a teeny chance that when I race this, I may choose the Scott RC Plasma because it's just the slightest bit lighter, but only a little bit less aero. But there's also a chance that I'm just going to pick the exact same bike setup that you're talking about. And in terms of wheels, there's no question. I would pick these wheels. This is the wheel set. The DT Swiss Arc 1100 full discs. Those are the ones.
Yeah, but the Zip Super 9s are so pretty and colourful.
I love them, and I don't even own them because I only spend my drops on the things that I absolutely need, and they're pretty, but they're slower than these ones.
I may have bought every single item available in the drop shop.
Peter has commented and said 540 to 1,000 is a brutal cat. It's also a very small cat in the women's series. We found that there are only as many I think the average number of racers per week that are racing in that cat is probably only 7, because as you noted when you were looking at the top 10 classifications, there were several racers at the bottom that had only done 2 races. That tells you that there's not that many women that are even in that category, much less racing it.
Yeah, the
We're
vast
looking
majority
now
are under
at
500. And that's partly down to, if you look at sprint power relative between men and women, the women's tend to be a bit lower. So that will ultimately impact the base score for the women riders, which is why, especially during off-peak season, we do tend to see the 80-90+% of women scored under 500. But I'd expect that to increase as people move indoors for the indoor racing season.
We're looking now at Lena Gunhaga in category 4, and now we've just moved to Margaret Thompson. It looks like Lena has been holding steady, but having just made it through the start-finish banner and over, she's just as we were suggesting that people might do. Lena dropped her power a little bit, and now Margaret is about to make it kind of over the hump, as you might call it, onto that second half of the course again.
Yeah, I think the start-finish banner is probably exactly on the crest of a hill. So as soon as you get past it, you start going downhill. Was probably a nice little bit of relief for the start of the second lap. And well done, Mel, who managed to win this morning.
It looks like Teresa Daviette and Holly are racing at roughly the same paces. That's Sherry Townsend. She is really trying to pick up the pace while she's still going uphill. I doubt she can hear me, but she is, I can tell. And that comment, Go ATP Racing, is from Crystal Moore, who is one of the co-founders of ATP, and she was our commentator last week.
Also a very, very strong triathlete, I believe.
Yes, and also a coach of triathletes. She is excellent.
Of course.
Catherine Douglas looks like is. I always think that the downhill doesn't actually start until you get around this roundabout. So maybe I'm incorrect about quite where it starts, but in my head, until you have actually made it around this, you don't get to let up. At least I'm not going to let up until I've actually made it around this. We just had Rachel, you know and now Laura Sorensen.
I think your roundabout approach is probably a really sound one because, I mean, looking at the map, it does start to go downhill pretty much on the banner. But actually, if you're going to let off a bit on the downhill, you want to be at your maximum possible speed by the time you let off. So if you're still hustling really hard to put the roundabout, then I think that makes a lot of sense.
We had Mia Edmondson a moment ago, and I don't know who we finished up with. It was a Galaxy racer, maybe Jenny Bonavia. And here we're in Cat 5 looking at Connie from Cruise Bike.
Yeah, I know Connie is very big on her team time trials, so hopefully same applies to individual. We have one of the Dyno's riders here. It's Geraldine Hope, out of the Drafting Dynos, who have, in my mind, one of the best racing team names in Zwift.
I think it's just fun. I mean, a dinosaur on a bicycle. There's no way around that.
Well, it does happen sometimes on Zwift.
We just saw Hannah G from Level and Vinette Powell from Esports Racing Team is who we're looking at now.
Yeah, and Vinette does a great job corralling the ESRT ladies together, and she's currently recruiting for Zero Team. So if you are a D rider and you'd like to ride for ESRT, then please get in touch with Vinette.
There are actually quite a few teams that are looking to fill out their ZRL rosters. So if you are interested in joining a team in general, you should just possibly check out the Zwift Insider links to get to the women's Discord There's an entire women's section of ZwiftInsider.com. If you go to ZwiftInsider.com/WMN, that will get you there. And you can find from there tips on joining a team, a list of all of the teams, and also the link to the women's Discord so you can actually communicate with people that are recruiting directly yourself. Looking at Sarah from Coalition, and a moment ago, oh, and this is, we were looking at Sarah from Coalition. Now we're looking at, I skipped, Sophia Long.
Sophia.
Looks like Sophia has just passed her 1 minute friend Manon. Is that right? No, I'm looking at this wrong.
Manon.
Sophia just passed M. Coelho. Let's see who that. I should be better at this.
So that's Maria Coelho, who races for the Atom Racing team.
Yes. And there's Manon, also Atom Racing team.
That is quite a special kit. That looks fantastic.
I agree, and it says Ale right on it.
I think that's the Watch for Femme course jersey. I'm not entirely certain though.
It would make sense if it were. That is the
super colors.
Yep.
That was Anna Longstroth, racing for Dixon Fox.
Yep.
We're back with Thelma, Ford's daughter.
Yeah, Thelma is nearly done. 0.3 kilometers left. So she is just racing her way up. Lois is similarly trying to get finished. She's almost to the castle herself. So you can see here that Thelma did make the first lap faster than anyone else. And now Thelma is out. I mean finished. She made it to the end. And Tina Jareth from Watt Fabric is who we're looking at now. There's Lois Brewer steadily powering her way to the finish.
Just 200 meters left. Now she'll be able to see the banner. There we go.
Hannah Longdale and Amanda Robinson, both from NZ Bro, who we saw just a moment ago really quickly. Tina is rocking it at 5 watts a kilogram. She knows that the race is almost over, and she is just pushing as hard as she can to get. She even kept push at the end. That was more than 6 watts per kilogram. And now Anna and Amanda, hopefully, making it.
They're all finishing left, right, and centre at the moment. And anyone new to Zwift, once you get to level 50, you get some fire socks. You should put them on and never take them off because they make sparks.
No, you absolutely should not put them on. You should not. They are a fun gimmick, but they will give away anything you're doing to the people around you immediately because they light up the road.
Speaking from experience, the best thing you can do with fire socks is use the ghost power up and then sprint, because as soon as everyone sees those flames coming up, they know they've already lost. So Anna Robinson out of NZ Bro. New Zealanders Bike Racing Online, I believe.
Sharon Bayoun we got here from Level, and behind her is Melissa Tuna.
I have spotted a Holly Bergin there who said she wasn't racing tonight, but apparently is.
I saw that as well. She said she was training and had to train for something. I wanted to chime in and encourage her and say, but this is great training. Just go as hard as you can, as long as you can, and turn it into an FTP test. But
I think Holly's decided that 25 minutes of threshold is an excellent source of training, which I heartily agree with. Holly is just coming to the line.
Yep. Sue Zellweger from Watt Fabric, it looks like we're looking at now in category 2. And Natalie Smith from Riot right there, behind her.
Whilst I wouldn't necessarily recommend using the Tron in a time trial, it was good to see that she was using correct colour wheels because pink is always the fastest.
Yeah, I would use a time trial bike. Let's hope that was a user side thing where she switched in the pen and we just didn't get the update.
Exactly.
Don't always trust that whatever you see your competition riding is what they're actually riding. That's the lesson here. Because sometimes they're not riding
Part
that.
of the trickery.
V-Bugs.
This is someone outside of a race doing a workout.
Lois Gunhaga. Oh, no, Lena Gunhaga again.
Yep, with the Cat 4s. She has just over a kilometre to go, and she's currently leading the way. With some company not far behind with Margaret Thompson.
Yeah, Margaret Thompson, like me, races for ATP, and I don't know if she still races for BMTR at all, but she definitely trains with them much like I do. BMTR is great also.
Got Margot Rucker here, racing for Cryogen, just coming over the line.
Valerie Ramirez right behind. Category 3 we're looking at again.
Yep, races for Aeonian Race Team, who's led by Carla Williams, and she is just coming over the line now.
This is Josephine Halbus, Swedish Zwifters. I'm sorry, I can't say the A properly. I know how it's supposed to sound. Halbus, probably. This is that. There's Nina Gunhaga about to finish her race. She's less than a kilometer from the line now. There isn't any seeding done in this, right? So it's partially based on when you signed up as to what order you're put in. So
yeah, it's entirely
Smith
based on when you
might be the
sign
fastest, or yeah, Jen Pantelick from Coalition might be super fast too.
So yeah, like you say, like some of the later starters could set a cracking time, even though they won't finish a race first. They might have the fastest time and win the event.
That was Michelle Montuk, and now we're at Marcella Arvizu. Marcella races for Ninjinga Cycling. I don't know that team, but great. And Sonny Weber's cheering on her Coalition pals like Jen and Michelle.
There's Sweet Hammerfee out of Coalition.
Yes. I will never forget that is her husband's cat's name. Hammerfee. I think her name starts with an A, maybe Alicia, Alyssa, something.
Okay.
That's Sherry Townsend. That's my captain and the person who recruited me to ATP. I was looking for a ZRL team, and I posted on the WTRL ZRL Zwift forum, and she was the first person to reply, which I think was the happiest accident I've ever had. I'm super happy with ATP. Just ahead of her is Teresa Daviet, by the way, from Rave, who looks like is about to finish her race as well.
A couple of quick shout outs to Holly racing for Velos. Holly actually runs the Velos racing team, and looks like she's going nicely. Also saw Rachel Mendoza in there as well. Hope she's having a good race. Sweet Hammerfee coming up to the line.
You?
Back to Sherry.
Yep. And then probably Kathleen Douglas, and looks like it's a drafting dino is right there. I'm going to guess that must be
That was Geraldine, I
Geraldine
think.
Hope. Yeah, probably Geraldine. Could be Christine McCallum, who also registered, but oh, there it is, Geraldine Hope.
Last little bit of climb before the finish. 500 meters to go.
There's Holly.
Back with Holly
James.
in the splendid Veloz kit.
I like the matching socks. That's a really, and shoes.
Always.
Socks and shoes, the whole combo. You have Rachel finishing up her race.
Yep, Rachel Mendoza. 200 meters to go. And over the line.
Sharon Bakewell. Sharon races with WCC. And then there's Geraldine finishing up her race. This is Kay Deal from Esports Racing Team. Her name is Kay, K-A-Y-E, Kay. Could be Kaye. I think it's probably Kay though.
Just 200 meters left for Kay.
I will say this category 5 is super duper full of enthusiastic racers. Like, I think more than 30 racers signed up to race in category 5 today in this field only. So we're looking at probably 50 women in category 5 racing throughout the day today. This is Maria from Aeonian. Maria VT. I don't know more than
And we're back with the next.
Yep.
That's been out over the line as well.
And Hannah from Level. Yeah. That's Mel from Watt Fabric. Mel Scheichel? Scheichel. It's got to be Scheichel. If that's a, yeah, it's got to be right.
Mel on the home straight.
Almost finished.
This is Karen racing for AEO. I know Karen's been doing an absolutely phenomenal amount of training recently, and she was very glad to see this TT pop up. So, well done, Karen. This is Sophia Lamb. And back to Manon.
Yep. And I know you found this racer's first name, Maria Quella. And now we're looking at Erin Kirsten, racing for Rappa.
It looks like we've actually got a massive herd contingent all racing pretty much together.
Oh yeah, that's fantastic. That's some good numbers.
And got a Lydia Swift from a Level, putting down the watts as she comes up to the line. Lynn Bjorvik from SNR.
And Sarah from Coalition.
This is Anneli from Swedish Swifters.
Aw, that demo is John Moore, the other co-founder of ATP Racing.
I know John very well.
He's got W in quotation marks because they laugh and they call me Kelly Watts or kilowatts, I guess is the, instead of kilowatts, it's kilowatts. It's my watts.
Jessica Lee from Aspen Racing Team.
Yeah.
Next across, we've got Sarah Bailey.
The herd.
And now we move on to Mrs.
Herd.
Tracy Taylor.
Also herd. With the Gen 2 penguins, right?
Yep. Well done, Tracy. Next in the herd list is Amy Potter. And she's got just a kilometre to go.
Is that a herd kit, James?
It looks like the herd racing kit.
Okay. I'm assuming it is. I know herd has more than one kit. So the one I'm most familiar with is...
there's two. Those were originally my sponsors. one of them is £5 bottle of wine.
Yeah, I'm most used to the blue and green one. But...
Yeah, it's one of the only kits other than Z-Sun that have red shorts.
Oh. Well, that's super controversial, wearing something other than black. There are whole memes on the internet about choosing to wear shorts that are some color other than black. But I think in the virtual world where you don't need to worry about mud, you can wear whatever color shorts you want.
Yeah, and I think because there are so few kits with red shorts, it's just a little bit more distinctive. And this is Amy just coming around the last corner before the line.
And she's upped her tempo a little bit. I saw that. She made it up to 2.7 there when she was just getting to the last uphill bit.
And here we have a gear girl who races for the Yellow-Eyed Penguins from Herd. Last of our quartet from the Herd for a little bit, but we do have a few left.
I'm a fan of the yellow Mavic socks. Oh, and she's got the wheel turned a different color. I didn't even know you could do that.
Neither did
I have
I.
to figure out how to do that. How do you do that? I want something other than red. That sounds great. I'm going to figure that out.
Oh, there's an overtake on the line.
But it was a TT. I mean, that doesn't...
Another of the Yellow-Eyed Penguins from the Herd with Diana.
Yeah, and it looks like she's got socks that came from one of the tour, or sorry, shoes that came from one of the tours recently.
I think she's got the socks on in a pretty triathlete style way. Far too short for riding a bike. Sarah Allen.
You have opinions. Yeah, Z-Sun Racing right there. Those are she's Z-Sun.
Socks must be pulled up.
Well, we were just talking about Z-Sun's kit. That was Sarah Allenby from Z-Sun, so I don't know.
Yep.
Juliana.
Juliana. And we're coming down to the last few races tonight.
Yeah. Well, and this is just a testament to how big this field is, right? If there's she's the 20, we're looking at the 26th out of 34. One of those is our streamer artifact, but that's 33 women that are racing this race today. So
Brilliant.
there's a lot of them. It's wonderful. This is Heidi Gabriel from KST. I don't know what KST is. I'm going to have to look it up. Cage Sports Trophy Riders.
Okay. Now we've got Sarah Snell riding for Coalition. She's just down to the last 400 metres. A really high cadence. I can't imagine riding at 95.
That's what the pros do, theoretically.
I am perfectly content at 80 to 85. Thank you very much.
I'm a masher. I'm perfectly content at 70 to 75. You can tell though if I did put in a hard effort, you'll see a spike up to like 90 sometimes, because sometimes you have to do it if you're not going to change gears.
Sarah's pushing up to 120 RPM.
Yep.
Over the line.
Capo Donna, Kiwi Women.
This is Verity Horner. Races for Satonia. Coming over the line now.
She's pushing hard. Yeah, she wasn't letting up for the finish there. She pushed hard.
Here we've got Pauline Watson. Again, racing for Herd. I'm not sure which brand of penguin she is, but she is definitely a penguin. And that's a very, very interesting sock and shoe combination. I think the shoe is designed to go with the bike frame, but I'm not sure it goes with the socks particularly well.
That's Christine McCallum, drafting dinos. She's making her way up the final little uphill grade to get to the castle. I gotta say, I think her match of the bike with the kit is very nice here. She looks sharp. She has chosen very well.
I think the key question, though, Kelly, is would you sacrifice your own team kit in order to colour match your bike?
No.
But yes,
I had to think about it for a moment, but no.
The bike and jersey combination is excellent. Do you think there are some?
Now that I know you can
sock
change the
shoes in
color
game
for
mode?
those wheels, I'm gonna have to figure out how you change the wheel color. That's like a new thing. I've never noticed that you can change those wheels. But so we saw one that was yellow in the race. Normally it's red. Yeah, that's super sharp.
Go. And anyone that's listening, when you're doing a time trial, you should always wear the squirrel hat for additional aero.
It's that official Zwift comment, like, these are real Zwift things, like, this is extra aero. Those ears sticking up are just going to help, we promise.
I mean, the official party line is that no headgear gives you any aero advantage, but if you look at the squirrel hat while you're doing a time trial.
Oh, that's a good point. Biker Mel maybe it's a Mavic wheel that's got the yellow one instead of the DT Swiss one, and we just thought it was the same because it was spinning. I couldn't tell.
We may have to investigate post-race. When
We
I
were
say
just
we, I
looking
mean
for
you, Kelly.
Jay Vandervelk. I went looking for Jay's first name in this list of registrants, and I do not see it.
Zwifting with Demon Hunter says if your bike has a color change bar, the DT Swiss disc wheel will change with it. This is amazing news, but I did not yet know. And
I didn't know this either. That's amazing.
I feel I need to find like a pink bike frame to go with my pink Tron.
Well, and the nicest part, that'll match my ATP kit very nicely if I can manage to come up with a pink option. Or yellow. Yellow's pretty good too. Yeah, I don't know
Up with
Jay's first
300
name.
meters left. No, she is not on Swift Power, so I'm afraid I'm unable to help. And just coming around the final bend.
Julia Vandervelk. Vandervalk. That, I got it. I knew if I looked hard enough, I would find it. And she's from the Netherlands.
Yes.
And this is
And
Kirsty
here we've got
H.
Kirsty Hummel races for the herd Emperor Penguins.
Also from the Netherlands. I'm super impressed with all these women. Like, 33 women in Category 5 racing today. That's phenomenal. When you add that to the many that already raced today and the many that'll race later today, that's more than 50 women in just Category 5 racing this series today.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I think one of the things I would like to mention is that we're going to be doing a little bit of a reboot of women's only races from the start of September. So from the 2nd onwards, the calendar is going through a little bit of a cleanup exercise. And the FemCycle Collab, who are one of the largest female racers and organizer groups, they are going to be creating 5 women's only races daily, probably 5 during the week and 4 at the weekend, and they will be available from the 2nd of September. If you would like to see where all of these races are, if you join the FemCycle Collab Zwift Companion Club, they will all be listed in there.
Yes, and you were telling us that the weekday times and the weekend times are going to be different to better match people's different schedules for weekends versus weekdays.
Like the races will be targeted at main time zones being UK, Europe, Australia, East Coast America, West Coast America. They're like early evenings, but the weekend slots will be more aimed at either moderately early morning or mid-afternoon.
One of our racers has commented, "Nice event, thanks." I think that's probably Thelma Thorsdottir, I assume.
That's Thelma, the daughter of Thor, who was absolutely powering down in the Cat Ones. So she's obviously recovered enough to be able to send us a little message. So we're glad you had a good time. And Kirsty is down to the last 500 meters.
Yep.
Just at the very, very top of the hill, and some downhill respite coming soon.
You told me that the designer of this particular course calls this little structure the castle, right?
No, the castle's a bit of a corkscrew.
Okay, this is a different structure.
And Kirsty has the final bend in sight. 300 meters to go.
Yeah, Damon Bates, that's been running behind the scenes things for us for ZMS Esports Racing Studio, has just flashed up his like and subscribe reminder. I want to thank Damon for having put all of this together for this series and having made commentating so easy and so accessible so that we can have people watching women's racing live and our coverage of it. And it'd be great if you were to like and subscribe ZMS Esports Studios channels on YouTube and or Twitch. The Twitch channel, I am told, is actually better quality in terms of the stream, so you could get slightly better graphics there if you wanted to.
But yeah, big thanks to Damon for all he does to support women's racing on Zwift. We are eternally grateful. So let's quickly run through the results. Telma came out top in Cat 1, followed by Tina Jareth, and then Kirsten Shooter.
Yep. So in Category 2, mind you, the Category 1 time is the time that's up there, 22:52, and this is all relative to that. We have in first Lois Brewer, Anna Longdill, Natalie Smith, Melissa Tuma, Amanda Robinson, Sharon Bayun, Angelique Nell, Holly Bergen, Julia Palo, and Sue Zellweger.
In Category 3, Hazel Smith came out on top, followed by Nina Ines, Valerie Ramirez, Claire Spencer, Jen Panteluk, Marcella Arvizu, Josephine Horbus, Margot Rucker, Michelle Motiuk, and, of course, Sweet Hamerthy.
In Category 4, we have Catherine Douglas, Margaret Thompson, Sharon Bakewell, Maria V., Sherry Townsend, Yvette Ashman, Mia Edmondson, Lena Gunhaga, Karin Bassett, and Teresa Daviet.
And finally, in the very hotly contested Category 5, Jessica Lee wins with Connie in second, then Sarah Bailey, Mel Sheikle, Lynn Bjorvik, Geraldine Hope, Tracy Taylor, and then Marike, Manon, and Sophia Land.
There will be updated standings for this entire series if you just keep checking out Zwift Power. The individual standings that we were bringing up at the top of the hour is for the entire series overall of all, I guess it's 4 times on Tuesdays and 1 time on Saturdays that women can race. And that means that there's still 2 more times today and 1 more time on Saturday for people to try this individual time trial. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in, and thanks for giving me this opportunity, Damon and James.
Thanks for coming, Kelly, and a big thank you to everyone who's taken part in the series, and an extra special thank you for Damon bringing all of these fantastic pictures. Have a good night.